She's still stuck to me from yesterday. I smell the thought of you all over me. I've got a bite marks on my neck and it scratches down my back. She can take what she wants from me, 'cause she's just like marijuana, so smooth and then you gotta take another hit to feel right. She'll pop back if you want it, and you'll come back 'cause you like it, and you'll feel it just like you're high. Let me take another hit of you. Let me take another hit of you. It's just like a dream when she comes on me. You know what I mean. The softness of her lips between my fingertips will keep your hold on me. No, she's just like marijuana, so smooth and then you gotta take another hit to feel right. No, she'll pop back if you want it, you'll come back 'cause you like it, you'll feel it just like you're high. Let me take another hit of you. Let me take another hit of you. Let me take another hit of you. She's just like a kiss, feel it on your lips, take her here, feel the breath on me, ever so gently, she'll get you on your knees. Let me take another hit of you. Let me take another hit of you. She's just like marijuana, so smooth and then you gotta take another hit to feel right. No, she'll pop back if you want it, and you'll come back 'cause you like it, and you'll feel it just like you're high. Let me take another hit of you. Let me take another hit of you. Oh, baby. Let me take another hit of you. Let me take another hit of you. Another hit of you. I'll take a hit of you. She's still stuck to me from yesterday. I smell the thought of you all over me. I've got a bite marks on my neck and it scratches down my back. She can take what she wants from me, 'cause she's just like marijuana, so smooth and then you gotta take another hit to feel right. She'll pop back if you want it, and you'll come back 'cause you like it, and you'll feel it just like you're softness of her lips between my fingertips will keep your hold on me. Oh, she's just like marijuana, so smooth, and then you gotta take another hit to feel right. Oh, she'll pop back if you want it, and you'll come back 'cause you like it. You'll feel it just like you're high. Let me take another hit of you. She is just like a kiss. Feel it on your lips. Take a hit. Feel the breath on me. Ever so gently, she'll get you on your knees. Let me take another hit of you. Let me take another hit of you. She's just like marijuana, so smooth, and then you gotta take another hit to feel right. No, she'll pop back if you want it, and you'll come back 'cause you like it, and you'll feel it just like you're high. Let me take another hit of you. Let me take another hit of you. Oh, baby. Let me take another hit of you. Let me take another hit of you. Another hit of you. I'll take a hit of you. She's still stuck to me from yesterday. I smell the thought of her all over me. I've got a bite marks on my neck and it scratches down my back. She can take what she wants from me, 'cause she's just like marijuana, so smooth, and then you gotta take another hit to feel right. She'll pop back if you want it, and you'll come back 'cause you like it, and you'll feel it just like you're high. Let me take another hit of you. Let me take another hit of you. Just like a
Here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to another discussion with the Tiltify team. And this month, we've been talking about pride. We've been talking about issues concerning LGBTQIA2 plus communities and charities that that support a lot of those support or help find solutions for a lot of those issues. Today, we are joined by amfAR. For 35 years, amfAR has been diligently looking for the cure to AIDS through innovative research. And today, we're going to learn more about that with our friends Sue and Callum. And if you had your ears on listening to the pre-stream music, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce singer, songwriter, musician, content creator, and Tiltify fundraiser, Megan Lenius. So we'll learn more about Megan and Megan's journey through content creation and fundraising. And I have a co-host today, Matt. Thank you so much for joining us, Matthew. I always say Matt or Matthew. You say you don't care, but you're like whatever. Say whatever. Matthew. Matt is one of our charity success managers. Also helps steward the relationships with with our amazing charities, and also a content creator himself. May know Matthew as Sierra Mist. Also, if you saw our sizzle reel whenever you land on our Twitch channel, Sierra Mist is the first one totally representing how right. You're featured. You're one of our featured content creators. How you can use Tiltify to fundraise for our cause. So yeah, let's just dive on in and get to know our friends at amfAR.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to immediately start off with just kind of learning how both you, Sue, and Kaylin kind of came to working for amfAR. What was kind of your journey to kind of getting to this organization and the work that you do there now?
Absolutely, I can start. I have been at amfAR since the mid 1990s. I felt the things were a little different back then as far as society and that we could find a cure. And there was a lot of stigma at the time. And I just felt that the work amfAR was doing was incredible because they were fighting it on three different fronts. Obviously, trying to find a cure for AIDS, but also fighting the stigma and pushing for sound public policy. And I was hooked, and I've been there ever since.
Uh,
Fantastic.
I have a much less exciting one. Well, I've been working in and out of nonprofits for about a decade. I started at amfAR in November of 2019, so it was just a few months of work. I was hired on as the database coordinator for the philanthropy department, and yeah, November to December, things were swimming along pretty nicely. I had a couple months of jury duty, and then suddenly everything changed. Um, but initially, what brought me to amfAR, I was actually working up the street at Springer Nature, which produces a lot of textbook publications, ebooks, those kinds of things that you're probably really familiar with. In a science field, I majored in philosophy, so I didn't really have a lot of those kinds of textbooks. But a lot of our teammates did actually either come from amfAR or moved on to amfAR before moving on to another position somewhere else. So I had been there for about a year before I saw that there was an opening for a database coordinator position at amfAR, and I jumped on it. Um, and yeah, and here we are.
That's amazing.
Fantastic. Yeah.
So Megan, you are a phenomenal songwriter, wonderful musician. Tell us about your journey. It's like, what was your path to getting to do what you do live? And what is like, how often can people see you perform? And what tell us your history. What's your origin story? How'd you get your superpowers?
Right. A long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I've been singing my entire life. That was something I asked my parents do you remember when, was there a moment, was there something that all of a sudden I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a famous singer now? But they were just like, no, that was something you always did. You always sang, you always wanted to be a singer. So I had been performing in Minnesota, where I'm from, and around areas. I had sang in cover bands,
and I am a true Gen Zer, so I grew up like posting videos on the on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and like gosh Vine when it first came out and Periscope, like every app that you could post music on, I like growing up had posted on it. And along with music, I had also started doing some acting things. So I had moved out to LA when I was 19 maybe 20 something, I can't remember, in 2017. I moved out to LA, and I was there because I had signed with an acting agency. And before that I was working two full-time jobs, so I was really busy, and then all of a sudden I moved to California and I was just waiting for auditions, so I was very bored all the time. And I had a friend who was streaming on Twitch, and I went and I like stumbled through his Instagram page, and I went onto his YouTube, and he had like millions and millions of views. And I was very confused because the last time we had talked, we were at like the same sort of level of followers, and I was like, "What the heck is he doing?" And I remembered that he had streamed on Twitch, and so I went and I looked at his Twitch stream. He had a couple hundred people watching him, and like the music category was fairly new. And in that week, I figured out how to live stream. I was like, "This is the best. If I can like do this, like this is so much better than performing at any coffee shop or like any solo gig because I'm just doing it in my bedroom." And that was now 4 years ago. So I've been doing this ever since. I've been full time streaming for I'd say about 2 years now, and been it's been great. I've gotten a lot of the opportunities that I've gotten. I've grown like immensely music wise, and um, like followers, and just like where I've gone in my career. I was on a billboard in Times Square. Twitch put me on a billboard in Times Square, so it's like I was in Entrepreneur magazine. Like there's like all of these things that are like dreams of mine that have all happened just from streaming, and like meeting contacts from doing charity streams and just saying yes to a lot of things, really.
That's I love that, and I also love that you found that niche. And we'll talk about this a little bit when we're talking about fundraising. That you're not a gamer necessarily, right? Like that's not your content. People land on your page. It's not just that you sing and songwrite and play music sometimes, but that's just who you are. It's just what you do, right?
Yeah, exactly. I stream 5 days a week and I play song requests. And so it's a very, and especially when I started, there was maybe a dozen like musicians that were in the music category. So it was very, very tight knit, and it was very easy to like gain momentum as a creator when I had first started. And even now the music category compared to the rest of Twitch is so undersaturated.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it grow. And so, how much of the content that you perform is like original? Like, what is like the cadence of like new material on average?
I'd say it's 25% of my stream, maybe a quarter of my stream
Wow.
to 50%. Sometimes it's like it kind of depends. It's very like my stream is very fluid, and because I work off of song request, there's some streams where people just be only requesting original songs, and that's by the end of the stream I'm like, "Oh cool, I played two covers." And then there's some streams where it's more mainly covers and whatnot. So it kind of changes, but it's usually at least I'd say a quarter of my stream.
Fantastic. Well, let's learn a little bit more about amfAR and the work that they do.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm wondering, Caleb and Sue, if either of you could go into detail a little bit more about kind of, the services and support specifically that amfAR provides to the community.
Absolutely. amfAR's mission is to end the global AIDS epidemic. Um, that's what we're singularly focused on. We have a few different programs, and way we do that on the ground. We have a public policy office that is advocates for sound public policy, also watches very closely the congressional budget cycle to make sure funds aren't cut. um, we also have obviously a research department, and we are funding promising AIDS research. We're funding young scientists to encourage them to go into the AIDS research field. And we're funding and driving research. For example, you've probably heard with COVID that two of the first two vaccines that were out there utilize something called messenger RNA technology or mRNA technology. amfAR has been funding researchers studying mRNA technology since the late 2000 aughts. So part of the reason we were able to get a COVID vaccine created so quickly is because they were able to build on the foundation of AIDS research that we have been establishing for over 3 decades.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Uh,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to interject there because that is something that I read through through the website and through your resources, but definitely in mainstream media that's not anything I've heard, and so being somebody who did grow up through the 80s and knowing that the stigma attached to this epidemic, to marginalized groups, the gay community at large was stigmatized with this disease, but to know that this work has benefited so many people above and beyond its initial purpose is pretty fascinating, but not surprising if you know what science does. If you know how science works, it's probably like, of course that's what happens.
And we have another department that works extensively in Southeast Asia, and that's our Treat Asia program. When the AIDS epidemic was blowing up in Africa, all the factors, the kind of perfect storm that caused those huge spikes in HIV/AIDS were gearing up to happen, possibly even worse, in Southeast Asia. And it's because amfAR, working with local governments, local advocacy groups in Southeast Asia, we were able to kind of contain that explosive growth of the epidemic. And our Treat Asia office, based in Bangkok, has programs all over the world and is very successful more on the treatment side, using social networks to help inform how doctors treat patients regarding to the epidemic, using community networks to bring physicians together to really practice and adopt best practices. And they're also doing some groundbreaking work on pediatric AIDS studies, because we have a lot of studies on adults with AIDS. We have less on kids with AIDS. And they're diving in and doing the hard work.
Fantastic. And are there any other programs that you want to kind of take this opportunity to kind of like highlight, talk about?
We do have one final one that kind of serves all other programs, and that's public information, getting the word out about what we do. Things like working on our new website, but also the messaging. Sometimes it's hard to explain to people what we do as an organization. Like, if you take a different charity like Charity Water, you give us X dollars, we will build a well. With with research, it doesn't necessarily link the same way. It's not like, oh, you give us so many dollars and you'll buy a microscope or something like that. Research is more of an investment. So public information has the difficult job of taking some of these very scientific, complex, you know, complicated subjects and really helping them resonate with the, you know, people who may not be well versed.
Absolutely. And just a great question in the chat that I want to pull out from Robin is that, you know, especially is, you know, the contribution that amfAR has made, you know, to the development of the COVID vaccine, but how has COVID impacted kind of the programs and support that you're able to kind of give?
I think well, we, like a lot of nonprofits, are challenged during COVID. Some of the ways we typically raise money are in-person events. We didn't have any in-person events for 14 months. So we're challenged like many other nonprofits, but long term, some of the science that was developed to bring those vaccines to market can then be returned, and we can figure out what we can leverage to help bring the reality of an HIV vaccine closer.
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Caleb, do you have anything that you want to add? Any particular programs that are close to you?
Well, I did want to add that it was those challenges that COVID presented that ended up driving us towards Tiltify, even towards Megan. I think it was the Hope from Home campaign. I saw that, and I saw some articles from CNN about it, and I was very quietly, diligently working away as a database coordinator, and we were having regular Zoom meetings, you know, trying to coordinate and over communicate as much as we can. And you know, I didn't raise my hand, but I did send an email along with a link to my boss's boss at the time, just saying, you know, like, hey, here's something really wild. Jacksepticeye just raised a whole bunch of money on this thing called Tiltify in like 12 hours. And immediately they latched onto it. And credit where credit's due. I'm almost 100% certain that Sue came up with this idea first, like well before I even arrived at amfAR. But it was that challenge and that team composition. The conditions were just right for me to sort of sneak a little suggestion in. And then, you know, we sort of had just a blank check to just like go at it, do whatever it takes to do. A lot of folks on our team didn't really 100% understand Twitch. So when I tried to explain what kind of content creator Megan is, they were not having it. They were having a hard time. They're like, all right, so Twitch is for gamers. Well, no, it's for streamers. Streamers who game. No, not always. Sometimes they make canoes. Sometimes they bake. Sometimes they perform music. And I think we're still struggling with that every day. Someone goes, "Oh, how's your gaming thing going?" Streaming thing. Not gaming.
You know, if somebody in chat wants to drop a really good article that one of our team members just put out regarding exactly what you're talking about, Caleb, that would be wonderful. And it's a great kind of segue to talk to Megan about, you know, the power of Tiltify is because of the Tiltify community. It's mostly a community of creators of varying different levels and different sizes of communities that use their platform to share this moment to make some impact and some change. So Megan, you have a rare opportunity to to have a conversation with a charity. And I'm not throwing you out on the spot now. I know you haven't fundraised for amfAR yet.
We were in the talks. They like, we were, that was something in the middle of the pandemic. amfAR had reached out to me and I was like, hey, have you talked to Tiltify yet? Because like, we can't, it's really hard to stream for you if you aren't connected with Tiltify. That's always one of the first things that I do if a charity reaches out to me is, okay, I'd love to stream for you. I'm totally down, because there is such a power in like the community of Twitch. Like there really is Twitch is like the fastest way to build a true fan, like somebody that really does feel connected to you and is willing to help a good cause or listen to your thoughts and your passions and the reasons that you would like to, help support a charity like amfAR. And so it's always really great to have a platform where you're able to support like great people, and you have people that are willing to to help. And I love when there's so, I feel like there's every once in a while you get a creator that just kind of backs a charity blindly and they don't know like anything about it. That's one of the wonderful things about Tiltify, is that if they're attached to Tiltify, they're a reputable charity. But also like knowing that your research helped the COVID pandemic. Like there's so many things that amfAR has been like the header to in AIDS research, that it's amazing to be able to help like charities like them and connect with them.
What would be a question like, so if you could go and say to your creator friends to say, great, you're getting into charity, charitable fundraising, what would you ask them to ask themselves, or even potentially ask the charity? What were some questions to give themselves peace of mind, or maybe get those resources that you may need?
I think a lot of the times it's really easy to just look at their website and you can generally tell. Like I think a lot of the times too with the internet, just a simple Google search too of, is this a reputable charity? Like it kind of digs up a lot of things pretty easily. So I think that there's a lot of heavy lifting you can do before you even like reply to a charity, where you can just Google them and put 5 minutes into 5 minutes of research in to see if you like that charity. And then it's easy, once you know a general background of them, to then dive further into questions about them if you still are curious about things. And then that also shows to the charity that you're planning to work with that you put the effort into to research them and know what they're doing.
That's fantastic. It's relationship building, right? Mm-hmm. It's learning to get to know each other and seeing if it's a good fit. What are some of this is for anybody, what are some of the things that you've seen through fundraising on Tiltify that's like really resonated with you? Like, oh, I'm going to integrate that, or I want to see more of that. And I mean, we can't just say music just because Megan's here, but music for me is one of my favorite ones. But has there been something on Tiltify that's made you really that you can again take back to people who are maybe hesitant to fundraise, or hesitant to even use Tiltify?
For me, I think it's clips. That's usually what I take to other people.
Oh, it's a like using the clips feature on Twitch to show maybe fundraising incentives and rewards that are being.
The little Razer microphone back there, that's a red herring. I don't know how to stream. but I always meant to. I always wanted to, and maybe I will. We don't know. But in April we did our first campaign, and we had a great production partner and a great guest, and we were developing programming as opposed to just developing a campaign that's entirely run on the power of volunteer content creators. And that was wild and difficult and stressful. But at the end of the day, I watched a creator cross their fundraising goal and then shave off just the beard, not the mustache. And they were just like the emotion coming off of that clip was everything I wanted. Like, yes, I got to talk to some really cool streamers who had retired and moved on to production, and I got to talk to some celebrities, and we got to send out all these emails to cool people and ask if they're interested. And I got really invested in the process. But at the end of the day, the only thing that made me happy, like really, really happy, was to see a content creator and their community just lose it
Yeah.
over a single gift. Just like, the donation goes in, the alert goes off, and it's just chaos and mayhem, but it's great. And I just want more of that. And that's what I keep those clips for, is just to remind me and to really describe to other people, like, look what they did, look what we did together. It was so much fun, and it was so worthwhile, and I got to do it at work. Like, this is insane. Look at, and now I just keep a folder of clips where it's absolutely wild that I get to do this at work.
Yeah, that's really fantastic. That's incredible.
I agree. Just to echo, like it's really more of a partnership with these creators really becoming part of your community, and the excitement and the enthusiasm. It's incredible.
Of course, we can, if you have any questions in chat, do be sure to drop them in there. We have another question from the wonderful Robin Mendez, one of our mods and coworkers here at Tiltify. Thank you so much. And she's totally a plant. I'm not even going to not own it. She's totally a plant. She's dropping us all these awesome questions. Thank you, Robin. What lessons for either Callum or Sue, what lessons did either of you learn from that first campaign that could be helpful for other charities to know?
When you are beginning to design this program or this campaign, whether it is a call to action or a whole mess of programming with a schedule and the development of like a musical segment and a baking segment and all these other things, define your roles and your responsibilities first. You don't want that kind of dysfunction where you are sure that work needs to be done, but you're not sure who's best suited for the task, and you're not sure who should be doing the task. You don't want to double up on work like that. Also, biggest takeaway ever from that first event was give yourself all the runway you can get. Do not start emailing content creators 2 weeks beforehand. Do it a month beforehand. And if you need to talk to corporate partners, do that many months in advance. Just give yourself all the time you can. If you find a moment where you don't have anything to do, fill that space. Maybe you could write some impact points. Those are super tough to do for a nonprofit like us, but everyone I talk to at Tiltify keeps telling me how important they are. Write impact points, create assets for your toolkit. Like, so many parts of this job make me extremely happy, but seeing people use the materials that go into the toolkit, it doesn't make me as happy as when someone shaves off a whole beard and just leaves a mustache because they hit their fundraising goal, but it's close. It's pretty good. Feels pretty great.
Now, Sue, do you have any other insights into that first foray into digital fundraising and live streaming?
Yeah, I think you reach out and start building relationships with creators before saying, hey, can you do a big fundraiser for us? Give them reasons to want to do that. I mean, no one likes to walk into a store and immediately be assaulted by a salesperson to say, hey, buy this, and it's really relationship building. And ideally, if you do it right, you will build a relationship with creators for maybe years to come. So take your time with that.
Yeah, I echo that sentiment. Take your time. Lurk in the chat. say hi. I am 4 expansions behind on Final Fantasy 14. Anytime I come across a creator that I really like and I think they might be doing something for us in the future, if they're playing Final Fantasy 14, I'm just going to hang out for 5 hours. Just
You
'cause
heard it.
I desperately need the help. So
We'll connect
where-
afterwards. We'll
There
get
you go.
you. We'll get you
that's
taken
where all
care
the
of.
relationship building opportunities came from for me, was just being like, hey, so I'm playing on a console. I'm sorry. I don't know how to communicate. Why can't I be a dragoon yet? And like these are really easy, silly questions. But it gave me opportunities to like come back after a couple streams and be like, hey, thanks, that helped a lot. I'm almost done with the first expansion. I'm not.
Fantastic.
No, I'm sensing a theme of the conversation, and it's a pretty common theme that we have when we talk about community building and community management. Megan, how have you crafted your community to be, to be what it is, to be open to charitable giving, to participate in these fundraisers? You've probably done about a half dozen or so, like over the past year or so. But what did you lead them there, or did the community lead you there?
I think it's kind of a little bit of both. I think charity streams and and doing those sort of marathon streams to help causes is kind of bred into Twitch. Like it's a very common thing that I saw. So it was when I started streaming, it wasn't like when I had the opportunity to do my first charity stream, it wasn't like whoa, this is a crazy thing that I can do. Like I had already kind of known that it was going to happen. But I think that your community is going to echo your personality and your sentiment and your actions. And it's really easy to mold your community and take out the people that aren't as charitable or aren't willing to do those nice things and be a kind, hearted, forward, person. It's really easy to weed that out by just being open and upfront with your community when somebody says something that's uncomfortable and just being like, hey, nah, that's not cool here. And most of the time those people leave and the people that agree with you stick around. And it tends to breed that type of person. And I think that's it's like one of the easiest things to look past, because sometimes it feels bad to like tell a viewer like, no, I don't like that, but it's also one of the most essential things to like building a positive community.
No, that's wonderful. Another good question from the chat is, what sort of resources work best for you for during a fundraising stream? And this could go for Megan, but I know that Sue and Caleb, you also utilize some of those tools and features on Tiltify. What's the thing that you go, oh, thank goodness they had this feature?
I really like the new, like being able to pick the goal that it goes towards, like being able to have like those little segmented goals. Because one of my the main things that I do during charity streams, I bought like forever ago, like 4 or 5 different costumes from Party City or Amazon. And now it's like my go-to charity thing that if we hit a certain goal, I'll put the costume on for the rest of the stream. And it's the best thing because your community wants to help reach like those smaller goals, and it helps build to the end result. So I love being able to have that like organization within there.
I love that. Those are targets or milestones, or really powerful tools to drive that fundraising. That's awesome. Any other like thoughts? Anything like we didn't cover this, Lou? Let's talk about the thing from either Sue or Caleb, or even Matthew. Did I miss something? I probably did, and it's to be expected.
There's always the great question of how can people support amfAR, right? How can they get involved, maybe outside of fundraising or by donating? Are there ways that the community can get involved? I think people are always eager to hear about that.
Yeah, we've started to make a push towards peer-to-peer fundraising through things like Facebook, for your birthdays, for your neighborhoods, coworkers, peers, things like that. I think that peer-to-peer model is something I've experienced in the past while working for other nonprofits with sort of the walk run model, where everything was held up by that peer-to-peer element. And I think Tiltify sort of starts us off in a good place for not pivoting, but just sort of refocusing some resources towards that peer-to-peer option. It's definitely it's not my department, but I know that lots of gifts come from just email inquiries, mail inquiries, folks who've been giving the same amount for a very, very, very long time, and it's just part of their monthly breakdown of expenses. There's lots of people who make monthly gifts in memory of someone, but I think the goal going forward, at least for me, is I would really love for Tiltify to sort of be the central hub of how we focus on peer-to-peer fundraising, and we develop from there, because I think that'll be the most exciting new development for amfAR as far as fundraising goes.
Amazing.
Yeah, and I think following us on social, all the typical things that you would do. We also have some email subscriptions that are specifically around content creation and stuff like that. And it is called, sorry, Callum, amfAR Gaming Series. But for more information, definitely sign up. And I will talk about like a sustaining donation, a monthly donation. Doesn't have to be a lot. You could $5, all that helps. Every little bit absolutely helps. And it helps us get where we need to go. So,
and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think monthly giving was recently rolled out, or fairly recently rolled out to campaigns through Tiltify.
Yeah.
Giving, yeah, it absolutely is a feature of Tiltify.
Yeah.
More features, please. Love that.
That's awesome. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions in chat. I do have some important questions to wrap up the day with. The first one is in honor of Inside the Actor Studio. What is your least favorite word, Megan?
Ooh.
Megan's not my worst favorite word. I was just going to say, what is your worst favorite word? Least favorite word?
Ooh, I don't know. Put me on the spot like that. I don't have one that comes to my head right away.
TOS.
That does not violate TOS.
I know, right? Like I can't. Like that's the first thing that comes to my mind. What are words that I hate? Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't have anything that comes to my head right away. Because I'm not like the stereotypical like moist. Like a lot of people don't like that word. I don't really, whatever. I don't really care.
All right. Well, you got to have an answer, so we're going to come back to you. Sue, what is your least favorite word?
The first word that popped into my mind was phlegm.
Phlegm. Okay.
Pretty bad.
Oh, wow.
I don't. Okay, a good bad one.
Now I am trying to spell phlegm in my head. I can never get that right. Somebody in chat spell phlegm for me.
Too many letters.
Callum, what is your least favorite word?
Depending on the tone you say it in, it could be my name.
Thank you, Mocha Jones. Gotcha.
But yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, God, phlegm's such a good one because moist is so easy. Mm-hmm. But like, how do you describe a really good cake? So
right. It's not dry. I mean, that's not a good descriptor.
Phlegm is so bad.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I think you may have nailed it. Matthew, what is your least favorite word?
I don't know. You didn't put this in the notes for me.
I did not. I did not. This is fun filler for us to chat for another 5 minutes.
I mean, I really don't know.
Do you know what's funny? Like, it's not my least favorite word, but I'm looking at your background. I know somebody that drapes and not that you have, maybe we talk about what's the difference between a drape and a curtain. I don't know, but I see your curtains, and I'm going to call them drapes, and I have to say drapes is just like, doesn't make sense. It's a word that I'm like,
Sure.
why is that a word? I don't know. All right, Megan, you've had time to listen to all the other answers. What's your least favorite word?
I mean, like, crusty?
Crusty.
I'm going to go with that because I can't think of anything else.
All right. No, that's good. No, I think that's good. All right, but we want to end it on a positive note today. What is your favorite word? Back to you. You start us off, Megan.
Package.
Package is your favorite word. Okay.
Package.
Like a package has just arrived for you. That is.
Or just like the word package just kind of it like rolls off the tongue really well. It does mean usually when you have a package, it's like a gift of some kind, even if you bought it yourself. It's like it's a gift from my past self.
I love it. Sue, what's your favorite word?
This is a tough one. In honor of this chat, I will say pride.
There you go.
That's
nice. Points given to Sue. You didn't know there were points being given out, but they're totally points being given out. Callum, what is your favorite word?
Oh man, it's a toss up. It's either going to be boss or cheers.
Boss or cheers? Okay.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time working in a sort of private security role in DC, and I spent a lot of time working with guys and speaking with guys that I would just sort of always address as boss, and now it's just become reflex. Like if I bump into someone in the hallway, I'm sorry, boss. If I'm at Burger King and I'm talking to the guy taking my order, like, I'm sorry, boss, this is going to get really complicated.
That is like a very potentially very neutral replacement for dude, right?
I feel like across the board, like young and old, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm probably about to ask you for something, so you're the boss.
Nice.
Oh, okay. So you're oiling the wheels to get things moving. I gotcha.
A little bit.
I love it. Hey, Matt, what do you think? What's your favorite word?
Okay. I think I have to go with glitter, because
glitter.
I am a drag queen. I like a lot of glitter. It goes on in layers and layers. So I think I get very happy when I think about the word glitter.
Okay. I gotta go a little bit cheesy. I have to say hope. I always love that word, just because what it evokes. I'm always hopeful for the best, and here we are. I cannot get away with ending the stream with Robin watching here in chat with pineapple on pizza. Does it belong or does it not belong? There's only one right answer. Megan, pineapple on pizza.
I'll eat it. I don't really care. I think why are we so judgmental about what other people have on their pizza? That's my opinion.
Fair.
Eat what you want.
Fair. I love it. Fair. Freedom to eat what you want. I love this. Sue, pineapple on pizza.
Does not belong.
It does not belong. Okay, fair.
Not belong.
Callum?
If I didn't pay for it, I'll eat it.
That's a good approach.
I think that's a really good approach. That
approach applies to all pizza.
That's very pocket, thrift book mindfulness there with your pizza eating. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. Matthew, what about you?
For me, kind of, not on my pizza. Not on my pizza. If it's my pizza, it's not there.
Thank you. No, and I think that's kind of in line with what Megan was saying. It's like
exactly. Like if I see you eating it, I'm not gonna be like, ugh. But if you're gonna make a pizza for me, not on my pizza.
Can you just leave it off of that slice? That would be
exactly.
That'd be nice. All right. No, I am not pineapple on pizza, but hey, I have 20 years of Italian Catholic education that I have to shove off my shoulders, and food is a big part of that, and absolutely not. My father would be very disappointed in me. So I have to work through that. I wanted
to not like it the first time I had it. I was like, gosh, I want to hate this because it's more fun to be divisive about it. But and then I was like, dang it, now I'm okay with it. I can't lie.
I love it. Well, this has been absolutely wonderful to learn more about the amazing things that amfAR does and your roles and how you support that program. I know you're going to get Megan on board for a totally amazing stream filled with music. And of course, if you don't know Megan, go check out all of her amazing stuff. You'll hear her song again as we say goodbye. Is it Hit of Me? It's
Hit of You.
Hit of You, not a hit of me,
No,
but a hit of you.
Yeah.
Hit of Me will be the follow-up song, I'm sure. I inspired that creation of that content right there. Amazing work. Matthew, any final thoughts?
I mean, just, Unified for Pride has been such an amazing program. And so, if you're, watching right now and you're thinking about how can I get involved for Pride right now, there's 12 fantastic charities that you could be supporting right now as part of that program. And so we can't wait to, have you on board to supporting this great mission for sure. Megan, do you have anything that you want to, as a content creator, do you have anything you want to plug upcoming, any charity streams, anything like that?
I did just release the music video for Hit of You, so you can check that out on my my YouTube. I don't think I have any big charity streams planned right now, but I'm sure I'm going to have one with amfAR in the very near future. But yeah, I stream every 5 days a week at around 5 p.m. Central Time, so you can follow me everywhere. It's just my name.
Yeah, fantastic. And then Sue and Caleb, is there anything that you would like to promote in terms of what amfAR is doing online or anything? Any events upcoming?
Online, we are diligently brainstorming for September for another campaign. And even if that doesn't come to fruition, there will absolutely be a campaign in December for World AIDS Day.
Well, don't worry. I think we can make that September campaign happen.
It's going to be a thing. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I appreciate y'all. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. I know you're busy with Pride next week. I'm sure it's just absolute madness. And so we appreciate the time that you took to chat with us. Everybody in chat, thanks for the suggestions and the celebrating and the kind words. We'll see you again here on Wednesday with our community manager, Ashley, and she'll be chatting with other community members, discussing all sorts of things related to Pride and LGBTQIA2+ communities. Should be a lot of fun. And then one more conversation at the end of the month, and with Quirty Gamers, with Urban Bohemian and Jeff Brutlog. So lots more conversations happening this month, and more to come. Be sure you follow, you give us that love, and of course go to tiltify.com and get started fundraising. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Okay. Great. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
She's just like a kiss. Feel it on your lips. Take her here. Feel the breath on me. Ever so gently, she'll get you on your knees. Let me take another hit of you. Let me take another hit of you. She's just like marijuana, so smooth and then you gotta take another hit to feel right. No, she'll pop back if you want it, and you'll come back 'cause you like it, and you'll feel it just like you're high. She's still stuck to me from yesterday. I smell the thought of her all over me. I've got a bite marks on my neck and it scratches down my back. She can take what she wants from me.